Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to a new video on In the Stars. Yesterday I talked about quadruplicities combined with triplicities. That was the part 1. Today will be the part 2 of that video. So here we go. Okay, so yesterday I left off with Virgos. So today I'm starting off with Libras. Libras are cardinal air signs. So they're the beginning to the fall season. I've been trying to think about a perfect analogy for a cardinal air sign, which would be a beginning to air, so to speak. Well, I guess something like where you ever feel the first gust of wind, or maybe a fan, since that's like the initiative of air. You feel me? So maybe that, but. So as I said before, all air signs are naturally communicative, intellects, and social. So when you mix that with their cardinal sign, you have someone who is pretty much a conversation starter. They're probably the first one to raise their hand in a auditorium or some type of lecture, wherever it is, whether it's school or, some, one of those lectures you go to for like a business seminar, That's what I was thinking of. Or any form of place where conversation is taking place. They're going to be the first ones to, more than likely, they're going to be the first ones to start things off or start talking before anybody else will, because they excel at doing that because of their initiativeness from their cardinal sign, combined with already their ability or their strength of ability to already be great communicators. During a project or anything that involves a conversation, they're probably also the first people to come up with an idea, because of that intellectual ability that they have in that cardinal that's allowing them to actively initiate things. So they're going to come up with an idea before anybody else does. You see, and they're going to be the first to express that idea to anybody else. Also with Libras, because of that cardinal sign as far as being initiative or showing initiative, and that air sign, which is going to increase their intellectual abilities, they're probably, or more than likely, will always seek to want to learn new things. But on the flip side to that is that they can not stick with what they're learning, because their natural abilities comes from starting things off, starting the seasons, so to speak. So they want to start things off, but they might not necessarily finish those things. So when it comes to learning something, they might not necessarily finish what they're learning. They might be the type of person who read the beginning of a book or a few chapters of the book and then might not go back to it for a very long time because they done lost interest, because now they want to learn something new. They on to the next thing to learn, or they're too busy talking about it, so to speak. And this could also lead to them say that they're trying to make a speech or whatever. This could also lead to them being good at initiating the speech of what they're trying to, what they're trying to say, but not necessarily good as finishing what they're trying to say, not getting that point out across to the very end, so to speak. This is because that cardinal signs can lose focus, because as I said before, they don't finish things. They're just the starters of things. They're not the stabilizers or the middle season. They're the very beginning. So they're just there to start things off, start things going. So on hindsight, this can make them lose focus of things, which I said also combined with their air sign which can make them also lose focus, which also increase their more than likeliness to lose focus. Because as I stated before, as that's all of you know, that air is all over the place. Air can be anywhere. It's all over. So that can increase their likeliness to lose focus. Air is generally not stable. So they can lose, as I said, they can lose that focus sometimes, or they can lose their drive. Scorpios are fixed water sign. An analogy of fixed water can be something as of ice, or maybe a pond with no flow. Like how you see a pond, but there's no, it's just still, because that's all there is. It's just that small body of water. That could be an analogy used for fixed water. So as you might know, Scorpios come in the middle of the fall season. So as you know, or as I said before, that water brings emotion and intuitiveness, and their fixed sign brings stability. So they will probably the most they will probably have the most stable emotions out of any of the other water signs, because they bring that stability from their fixed sign, brings that water, it brings stableness to that water. It stiffens it like ice. It can't move. So it's just stuck in that one place. So it's not flowing all over the place. It's not going here and there. It's just at that one place. They can stabilize their emotions and stabilize that intuitive nature that they have, their feelings. But this is also where Scorpios tend to get that secretive nature from them, if you will, because they're more inclined, they're going to feel those emotions because of that water, but they're more inclined to holding that water in, or holding those emotions in, holding what they're feeling inside. So they're not expressing themselves on an emotional front as much as other water signs would. But they also are going to feel emotions just as well, or just as much as other water signs will. And so this is also where, or why, Scorpios can be vindictive in ways. But that's going too much deep into Scorpios, because that would also include, their ruling planet and things of that nature. But that intuitive nature of their water signs, combined with that emotional nature of their water signs, combined with the stability of them being fixed, what blocks those emotions in, or keeps those emotions in, keep it solid, keep it frozen, keep it stable in one place. Not to say that they don't feel those things, but they keep them inside. Also, with that being said, with their sign being fixed, and their water sign being based off emotions, it's hard for them to change how they feel about things. Once they have their mind fixated on how they feel about a certain thing, they're going to carry out that emotion until somebody can make them believe or change their mind. But it will have to be based off of on an emotional level. You have to change in order to change how they feel about a certain thing, you have to change how they feel about a certain thing, change their emotions, change how they feel about it. So with them being a fixed sign, if you can't make them feel any differently, they're never going to change their mind. But also with them being a fixed sign gives them a natural nurturing nature, to bring that stability. And that water sign combined, mixed with which is emotional, this is how you get the most sensual sign out the zodiac. Okay, next on the list is Sagittarius. Sagittarius are mutable fire signs. So what would you say is a perfect combination for, or a perfect analogy for that combination? I would say something like a wildfire or some type of untamable fire. Because as most people know, or if you don't know, that Sagittarians are known to be free spirited. Hence, an untamable fire, which, you know, you can equate this to their mutable sign, changeability, plus with them being a fire sign. So, as I said, as a fire that can't be tamed, at one minute it's a huge fire, so it's a big fire like a forest fire or a wildfire. Then it can shrink in or become so small that it's a small fire, or a small burning flame, and or anywhere in between small to big, if you know what I mean. Their mutable sign influences them to be changeable, transformative, adaptive. Their fire sign influences them to be passionate, energetic, enthusiastic. As you know, Sagittarians, as all mutable signs come at the end of the season. So Sagittarians come at the end of the fall seasons. Okay, so because Sagittarians aren't cardinal signs, they're not good at starting. And because they're not fixed signs, they're not good at stability. But their mutability does give them the influence or trait in order to be able to finish things. And their fire sign does give them the energy and passion that they need to get things done. The only thing is, though, the changeability and transformative nature of a mutable sign leads them to be fickle. This is what leads mutable signs to being most of the time. This is the downside to it, or the negative side to that changeability and transformative nature. They can be fickle at things. So when it comes to a Sagittarian who has the element of a fire sign, that means they can their energy can be all over the place. They can be changing their energy. They putting their energy into too many different things, and this is what burns them out. This is what depletes their fire, that fire in them. They're putting their energy into too many projects, or too many they're trying to focus on too many things at one time. And this is because of that mutable nature combined with their this is because of that mutable nature combined with that fire sign. But on the good side of that, this is why they say Sagittarians always bounce back on their feet, because of that mutable nature. They always are going to adapt, and when you include that with their fire element, which is passion and energy, their energy is eventually going to lift them back up, where that passion is going to lift them back up, is going to make them feel whole again, in order to take on the next task of where they want to focus their energy towards. Okay, on to Capricorns now. Capricorns are cardinal earth signs. So they're initiative earth signs. They're the starters of the winter season. I've been trying to think of this is another one I've been struggling with to think of a perfect analogy for, but I can't really think of one. I mean, I guess you could say something maybe like an earthquake or something like that, because they're the ground that starts to move, but I don't know. If you got an idea, let me know. But anyway, like I said, Capricorns are the initiators of the earth signs. So their cardinal trait of being initiative and active leads them, influences their earth sign, which is stability and practicality, as far as they're able to lead things on a more stable approach, Their mind is set on starting things off that has to do with stability. That's where their mindset is starting things on a stable front. And because Earth sign is also a trait of material gain or materialness, so stability and materialness goes hand in hand with one another. So their objective, or they're very good at to start things with or being active at things that's going to lead them to material success in a way, or they're going to be a more initiative to things that's going to lead them to material things. But as with all cardinal signs, they tend to lose focus on what they started and tend to want to start a new thing or a new project or be with somebody new, because whatever it is that's not getting them, that they're not getting out of whatever the situation at hand may be, they're ready to start something new, especially if it's something that's not giving them the stability that they're looking for, or if it's unpractical in a way. So they're quick to start something new because of that cardinal sign. They want to start something new. They want to start all over again, start from scratch. Also, so this can influence or hinder them to not being able to rise to the occasion or to take flight, if you will, in a way, because they're always starting from scratch. They're always starting over because of their earth sign influence them to be grounded. So they can never rise, or it's hard, or it's more difficult for them to rise. Not that they can never, that's the same with all signs. When I'm saying these traits that they have, I'm not saying that these are definite traits that one would share. Of course, everything depends on a person's complete natal chart and their own will. This is just the likelihood of a Capricorn and other signs, if you will. On to Aquariuses. Aquariuses are fixed air signs. An analogy for that combination could be something like a fan set to one setting or one speed, if you will. So as I said before, air signs are communicative and intellects, and fixed signs are stabilizers. So with that being said, that a fixed air sign or Aquarians can be stuck in their ways of thinking, or stuck in their ways of how they communicate with people. Like once they made their mind up about how they think about something or what they want to say, they're going to just go with it. Unless you can change them on the intellectual front, then that they might be more inclined to change. But for the most part, they're going to be stuck with the way they communicate, or stuck with the way that they think, that fixed in that communication going hand in hand with one another. On the flip side to this can make them very good at like negotiating or talking to someone, like, getting someone to go with what they want to do because they seem so convincing, because they believe in what they're saying so much. Good at finessing or your players or however you want to put it. They're great. They're very great with what they're saying because they believe in what they're saying so much. They believe in what they're saying to a T. But on the flip side to that can lead them to being argumentative, because if somebody is expressing how they feel about something or what they think about something, and an Aquarian has already stated how they felt or going against what you are feeling or saying or thinking, then it can lead to an argument, because they're going to be stuck in what they're saying. They're going to be stuck on how they think about it. because of that fixed nature in them. So that type of mentality, that argumentative mentality, really comes from them being stubborn because they feel what they're saying is right, because you can't change their mind. They fixed in that nature. So at the same token, they're great at stabilizing a conversation or a thought because of that fixed nature. But they're, as with all fixed signs, they're not necessarily good at initiating the conversation or a communication, or not good at ending the communication. But they can be good and bad at stabilizing communication. So last, we got Pisces, which are mutable water. When I think of mutable water, an analogy for that, I think of like a water during tide, or a water that produces waves because it's changeable. Like the waves could be big, small, medium, So that's what I think about when I think about mutable water. So as you know, Pisces, or you might not knew, but now you do, Pisces are the very last on the astrological chart, or the astrological year. So Pisces come at the end of the winter season. So with the influence of their mutable trait, combined with their element of water sign, as you know, or as I said before, water is based off of emotions and intuitiveness or intuition. So that mutable trait, that changeable trait, that means that their emotions tend to change. Their emotions tend to change a lot. They're changing of their feelings a lot, which it also goes with their intuition. Is feelings. Intuition is based off of how you feel about things, or how things make you feel. So their emotions and plus their intuition is bound to change a lot of times. So this can lead them to being unstable because that, like I said, at 1 minute you can be hitting you can be having a little, it could be a little wave of emotions coming your way. Then at the next minute you're getting hit with a whole tidal wave. So because their emotions and intuition is constantly changing, this is also leads to a good trait of theirs, which is also good trait of all mutable signs in general, is their adaptive nature. They're quick to adapt to their new feelings, their new emotions. They can adapt to those new things easily. So once they change those things, it doesn't take long for change those things as their feelings, so to speak, or their emotions. They can quickly adapt to that new feeling, how they feel about things. Also, can't forget, with that mutable nature of them being able to end things or bringing things to a finish, they're good at doing that on an emotional level, or a level of where they can use their intuition in a sense. So that was part 2 of quads and trips, or quadruplicities and triplicities combined. I hope you guys liked the video. As always, if you did, press like, click the description to follow me on my social medias. Comment below. Don't forget to click subscribe if you want to stay in tune for future videos. Once again, thank you for your time. Peace and love. Until next time.